Hey everybody, welcome to Nervous System. Following our muscular system, we're now looking at the control tower of our human bodies. Ideally, by the end of this session, you'll be able to examine the anatomy of the nervous system, determine the main functions of the nervous system, differentiate the medical terms of the nervous system and common abbreviations, recognize the medical specialties associated with the nervous system, and discover common diseases, disorders, and procedures related to the nervous system. All right, so at this point, I'm going to assume that you probably know most of the prefixes and suffixes. Now, here we have 13 and 29. There are several 22 combining forms, so make sure you know that. And there are some common abbreviations for the nervous system, which I think we can all get used to. So look at them. I think you probably have heard of a lot of these, including AD, ADHD, ALS. There was a ice bucket challenge some time ago. Um, MRIs, we get those in hospitals as needed. MS, OCD, PTSD, all of these you're probably quite familiar. But, especially if you want to be a healthcare professional, make sure you know all of those. As you can see here in the figure, there is a central nervous system or CNS, which has brain and spinal cord, but we also have peripheral nervous system or PNS, which has cranial and spinal nerves and ganglia. So make sure to thoroughly read through the anatomy or the structures of the nervous system, which begins with the brain, which can be separated into four major regions. Under physiology or functions, they do a deep dive of the different parts of the brain and what they can do. So look into the brain portions carefully as your brain or as your assignment. Pick your favorite brain is going to be on brain. And of course, the spinal cord, neurons, and glial cells, along with the brain, make up the entire nervous system. So make sure you understand how they work. Okay, let's take a breath. So today we have two puppies. Actually, they're not mine, but the last time I was flying back from Seoul, I did a little volunteer to bring these puppies from the shelter to their forever homes in the US. So I thought I'd share them with you. It was nice. All right, so now the text goes into a pretty good explanation on the physiology of our nervous system. So make sure to go through them carefully, understand what they mean by sensation, response, integration, and body control. And try and really think about your own nervous system when you do that. And I mentioned the physiology of brain earlier, so make sure you get that as well. I think you probably heard of a lot of these common diseases and disorders related to nervous system. A huge chunk of related diseases and disorders is neurodegenerative diseases. So Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, ALS, multiple sclerosis, or MS. These are not super common, but I think it's common enough that we've been hearing about those on the news and many TV shows and movies. They're part of the conversation. Other nerve disorders also include like stroke or cerebral palsy, TBI, and more. If you want to focus on these nervous system related um, specialty, you'll probably need to be a neurologist. Again, if you're aiming to be a healthcare professional one day, try and do these practice medical terms in context with real person. Not, I don't know actually how real these cases are, but these practice cases. And yeah, this is what you'll be doing all day, every day. So for the nervous system, we have 147 terms. So I'm going to say that, like let's aim for maybe like roughly half of these, right? We're trying to set realistic start of your medical terminology journey. And we have 2 days allotted for this session. So, try and do what you can, but I hope you don't feel discouraged just because you don't know all 147 of those. Just aim for that, and over and over again in time you'll be using these terms like your everyday words. We're wrapping up with 1 minute reflection questions. Thanks for watching.